here we are at the first big unveil of Auto Expo 2025. It is the Maruti Suzuki Vitara. Now it's built on an all-new, all-electric Hardtech E platform, unrelated to the other Hardtech that you see on the ICE models. They haven't revealed a whole lot of details, but here's what we know so far. It is, of course, an SUV. It is a skateboard platform. It's got a 2,700 wheelbase, and it rides on 18-inch aero-efficient alloy wheels. The battery packs are LFP cells, 49 and 61 kilowatt hours in capacity. And they've told us that it gets a range of over 500 kilometers for the larger battery. But now that's not certified by ARAI or MIDC or even WLTP. It's Maruti's own internal testing. So we'll have to wait to see how it actually is in the real world. What else do we know? Well, it seems to be really, really well equipped. It's got stuff like 360-degree cameras, level 2 ADAS, ventilated seats, a powered driver's seat, and a very interesting looking cabin. We'll get to that in a bit. It's also big on safety with 7 airbags as standard across the range. And yes, in case you're wondering, it is powered by only a front motor for front wheel drive. This one doesn't have all wheel drive for India, but we'll see if that can be offered at a later stage. Now let's go check out the inside and tell you what that's about. The front half of the interior of the Suzuki e-Vitara, which I think is really the biggest step forward for any Suzuki car yet. It's truly a different design. It's a nice two-tone layout. It's very layered. It's got this very interesting design for the AC vents, and it's got this high center console with a storage space down here because, of course, this is a born electric car. There is no gearbox, and they've made good use of that. There's a wireless charger down here, some very nice physical controls over there, and for the first time in a Suzuki, I believe, a twin screen layout, a constant binnacle, at least certainly the first time in India. I also like this drive selector that looks like a rotary knob, but actually you push it from left to right. I can't do that right now because the car is off, and you get your drive modes here and a few other controls down here and an electronic parking brake. Underneath here you'll find a bit of storage, not a whole lot, but a decent amount nonetheless. And get this, guys, switches that aren't borrowed from the 3 to 4 generation old Maruti Suzuki Swift. Yes, they're new. They've got a bit of metal on the top of them, and it does look a bit more modern. Up in front here, a squircle of a steering wheel. Again, looks like a new design for Maruti Suzuki, though these stocks are a little bit familiar, but the quality up here is genuinely very, very nice. I also like the comfort from these seats. They're not too soft, they're a little bit firm and very, very supportive, and I like that. I think it'll be better on long drives. Now, this car is going to be launched in March this year, so keep an eye out for prices then. But what do you think about the interior of the Maruti Suzuki e-Vitara? Is this something you'd be happy parking in your garage? Let us know down in the comments. Here in the back seat, things are a bit of a mixed bag. Well, for one, you notice it right away. You're sat quite knees up because the floor is very, very high. There's a big gap between my under thighs and the seat squab, and there's very little space to tuck your feet under the front seat over there. However, the seat cushioning itself, I think, is very, very nice. It's plush, and I like the upholstery. That's a mix of leatherette and fabric. It's also 3-tone, which is brown, grey, and darker grey. Another thing I'm not too much of a fan of is the finish of this roof liner. It's just a little bit cheap, and it doesn't feel up to the standard of a car of this price. Headroom is not too great either. Yes, they've scooped out a bit of the roof here, but it's only average. I think a taller person will have a bit of a tough time sitting back here. And the other thing, of course, the sunroof is not panoramic. It's only for the front half of the cabin. What else do you get back here? You get AC vents, which I'm afraid are not finished to the best standard. They're a little bit flimsy in my opinion. You get a USB Type A and Type C port down there. You don't get sunblinds, and the windows are quite slim. They are quite long, so you don't need a quarter glass back here. The view out is okay, but I wish they were just a little bit taller for a little bit more airiness. I like the texture over here and these gloss black floating door handles. And in case you're wondering if this car doesn't have a center armrest, it does. It's just that it is the center backrest. So once you fold that down, you get your cup holders, and it's a nice, pretty well positioned one. But you do also get a view straight into the boot. What I personally love about the e-Vitara is the design. It's a very bold thing for Maruti. Now, Maruti are usually quite subdued and quite restrained, but this has taken the opportunity to become a little bit out there. Yes, it is clearly an SUV shape, but they've not messed with that formula, but it's got these really nice high haunches around the back, and I like the dual tone roof color as well. They've also gone pretty bold with the front end with these sort of Y-shaped LED DRLs. They are LED headlamps, of course. They've got black plastic cladding around the base of the car, which gives it that requisite rugged look. It is very much an e-SUV, but there is a hint of Maruti's all-wheel drive models in there as well. The cladding continues down the side, signifying the battery over there, but also giving it a nice macho stance. What I also like is that it's got a regular door handle on the front door and a concealed door handle on the rear door like the old Swift used to have. Around the back, it's even cooler. And around the back, I like the look of it here too. It's got a bit of a spoiler on the back, a slim rear windscreen, what looks like connected tail lamps, but they're actually not connected. There's LED bits on the outside and halogen bulbs for the indicators and reverse lights. It's a pretty high boot lid. I wonder how that will be in practice. And I like that the E of E Vitara is in blue, a contrast color. More than anything else though, I really like this paint shade. I hope there are other interesting paint shades on offer when the car goes on sale. Now that, I'm afraid, is not a very large boot. As you can see, it's very high off the ground and the loading area is not that big at all. But the good news is, at least under here, you have place for all your charging paraphernalia, and there is even a spare tire underneath over there. So yeah, you won't be stranded out on the highway without a spare, but yeah, your luggage will be a bit limited. And now, breaking news. Since we started filming this, Maruti has since released the tech specs that they didn't give us initially, and I have them here on my phone. 4275 mm length, 1800 mm width, 1640 mm height, and as I said, 2700 mm wheelbase. It also has a minimum turning radius of 5.2 meters and the tire size is 225/55 R18. As for power and torque, the smaller battery will get you 105.8 kilowatts, that's about 144 horsepower, and the larger battery will get you 128 kilowatts, which is about 174 horsepower. Both battery options have the same torque of 192.5 Newton meters. So that's about the car, but here's another thing. This is Maruti Suzuki after all, and it's also about the network. Maruti Suzuki is all over the country. This car will be sold through Nexa outlets, not Arena. And Maruti promises that it will have a presence in over 1,000 cities across India. And that means they will be able to service your car at over 1,500 outlets, which will be geared up for the e-Vitara. What's more, apart from the home charger, Maruti will also be installing DC fast chargers in over 100 cities across India. Now that is the true Maruti promise of giving you an EV but also making it easy to live with. What do you think about the Maruti Suzuki e-Vitara that we finally seen up close and personal? Would you put one of these in your garage as opposed to the other hot and recently launched mid-size electric SUVs, the Creta EV, the BE6, and also existing ones like the Tata Curve EV and the MG ZS EV. Let us know down in the comments, and I hope you're subscribed to Autocar India. Plus, if you do come to the Auto Expo, do come and check out the Autocar India stall. We're in hall number 2 on the first floor. And thank you for watching. Please check out autocarindia.com/Auto Expo for more details on this and every other car on display here.